thousands, where they just get it in a second. But it's a different thing now because it has evolved so well. But this happening is a living happening. This you cannot do. You can jump, you can stand on your heads, take out your clothes, wear some badges, wear some clothes. You can do all that. But you cannot make the Kundalini rise in the sense you see the pulsation there at the triangular bone. You see the pulsation of the Kundalini there. Actual pulsation. You can see the rising of the Kundalini. You see it. You also feel the cool breeze rising. You can also, with the stethoscope, feel the sound, lap, 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 lap. Coming up to here, which Kabira has very clearly said, Shunya Shikhara para anahada bajire. At the apex of the Shunya Shikhara, zero apex of your head, you hear first the anahata. Anahata is this sound of the heart, without percussion. And that is how you feel the Kundalini. And then it breaks through, you feel it actually on your fingers. It's an actualization of the experience. This is what baptism is. When Warren Reeves said that you never had your real baptism, do not be angry with him. Because it's a fact. You have not got your realization. Christ has said that you are to be born again 100 times, he said. So now they have started saying we are born again. It's again self-certification. First of all, it was baptism. Nowadays there's another thing started, that we are born again. Now they come and ask, these people, they change from one to another. That how is it? Through Christ. You have to get through. And you will see, only in Sahaja Yoga you will understand that ultimately you have to pass through the gate of Christ only to enter into the kingdom of God. Is a fact. What he said, he never told lies. He told the complete truth, nothing but the truth. But the way you interpret it, the way you understand it is so narrow that you do not want to accept it. This is the gate about which he has talked. And this is the greatest thing he has done to us. Now this Vishuddhi Chakra is the center of Sri Krishna. If I say it is the center of Sri Krishna, you may start doubting me. You should doubt me also. It's not proper. It is not problem with Indians because they know it is the center. They know about centers. They know where Krishna resides. They know there are 16 petals to this. And that they know that he is called as a complete incarnation of 16 petals and all that they know. I do not have to quarrel with them. And the center here of Christ is actually a little confusing because he is called as Mahavishnu. In Indian literature he is called as Mahavishnu, not as Christ. And he is also Bauddha, not Buddha but Bauddha, which they got a little bit confused in our old scriptures. It's a difference of language. In one of my lectures on Christ, you'll find out about his origin, why he was called Jesus, why he was called Christ, and what is the origin of these things, why it was derived, who was his mother, and everything you will find out from that lecture that I have got for you. It is better that you go through that lecture and see for yourself. You have lots of these tapes already in Sydney. They can send it over to you. You can look at it from that angle. I mean, in this small little time, I cannot elaborately talk about Krishna and about Christ. But only thing I have to tell you that there's a very great relationship between both of them. And Christ is the word, comes from the word Krishna. Kist in India means the agriculture, and Krishna also come from Krishi, which also means agriculture. Agriculture means the one where you sow, and they are the sowers of the seed. They have sown the seed in the fields. So, the sowing of the seed is done by Sri Krishna, and the Gita that he has described is also another very interesting thing about which we are very much confused. Krishna never wrote Gita, first of all. Then he never it was never written by an absolute Brahmin or anything who was a born Brahmin, but was written by an illegitimate child of a fisherwoman. How can he write, a man like that you are born as a Brahmin? You are to be born as a Brahmin. What he was meaning, that when you are born as a Brahmin, then you have the aptitude to seek God. For example, you are all Brahmins in his own words. That means you are the seekers of God. All the seekers of God are Brahmins, and the seekers of power are Kshatriyas, and the seekers of money are Vaishyas. It meant the aptitude. But Hindus, as usual, have made, like all others have made, a mess of all that philosophy. According to them, you are born a Brahmin. Even if you are the greatest crook of the world, you are a Brahmin. And even if you are a person who is a very highly evolved person, if you are not born in a Brahmin family, then you are good for nothing. This caste system is such a horrible thing in India, which has no explanation at all in the scriptures, because it is written that in everyone resides the spirit. There is spirit in every one of you. How can you have caste system? You can have aptitudes. But as usual, people have escapes of everything. This point that everybody has the spirit within yourself. Gita has described it, that everyone has the spirit within. But one has to know, when he says there is spirit within you, that means he is meaning the human beings have the spirit, not the devils. Because Krishna himself has killed so many devils in his lifetime. One of the powers was Samharakam, he's killing. He used to kill so many devils, so there are devils also. On this principle that there is spirit in everybody, why did he kill so many devils? The devils do not have spirit in them. They are devils and devils and devils. For example, say Hitler, if he comes to ask for a realization, do you think he can get it or he should get it? His greatest reward would be a rigorous imprisonment into hell for all his lives to come.
How can you be so sure he was not Krishna casting out devils?
How can you be so sure that he wasn't Krishna casting out devils, more devils?
He was not.
How can you be so sure that Hitler was not Krishna casting out devils?
For that you must get your realization. That's why. You see, the surety only will come when you become your absolute. Just now you cannot be sure. For example, I'll tell you, when you get your realization, you get your vibrations, all right? Now with these vibrations, you can find out what is true, what is not true. Now you may say this may be all a myth. For example, we had some Brahmins in one of the programs I had first arranged. And I didn't know they had a fight with these organizers. But they said, she's not a Brahmin, how can you have a program here or something like that? And they were sitting in front row. I didn't know they had a quarrel. I just asked them, I said, who is Brahmin among you? Who thinks he's a Brahmin? Just come forward. So 5, 6 of them, you see, like great wrestlers came and sat before me. I said, all right, please be seated. Very arrogant. I said, sit down. I said, put your hands towards me like this. And they started shaking their hands. They got a little frightened. I said, why are you shaking? He said, because we are Brahmins and you are the power, that's why we are shaking. I said, see your neighbors, they are also shaking. Yes, yes, they are also shaking. They may also Brahmins. I said, please ask them what are they. They asked some people, they said, these are the people who have come from the lunatic asylum. These were the only 2 people who were shaking there. I said, now relatively you can see that when you thought you were a Brahmin, you are mad too. To believe into such a thing. Now to believe that Hitler was also good is a typical sign of escaping in life horrible things. This, you see, just to have an idea that everything is fine is the best way of jumping into the devil's den. And that's what has happened with people, that they never doubted anyone. And I don't know from where do people get these ideas in everybody's life. Even Christ, he took a hunter in his hand and he was whipping all the people. He was love, he was compassion, no doubt. But he did whip them. He also said that don't throw pearls before the swine. His compassion had a special purpose, which I will tell you just now, why he got himself crucified also, which is a very important thing. But when we just say that everything is fine, everything is good, the reason is we do not want to face the reality. Because perhaps maybe we cannot understand that there could be anything bad. But after realization you discover that yourself there are problems. Yourself there's something wrong with you. Leave alone others. There are problems within you which you have not seen and faced. Perhaps there are problems within you which you don't want to see in others, because then you will not be able to justify them. But after realization you get out of yourself. Like this sari I am wearing, if I am not identified with it, I see a spot, I would like to clean it. I see it, I want to clean it. I don't say it's a good thing to have the spots there. But supposing I'm identified, I'll hide it. I'll say, oh, there's nothing wrong, everything is all right. There are evildoers, not one, but so many these days that you have no at all idea. If you had, you would not have lost so much.
Is there such thing as a conscious evildoer?
Beg pardon?
Is there such thing as a conscious evildoer?
What's it?
Would you be able to just leave your questions till the end? Mataji will invite questions at the end.
All right? Now, the thing is, whatever happens to us in our consciousness is only limited to our human awareness. Whatever we see in our human awareness, at the time when Krishna came, we got our human awareness. In that, what do we have? Only 2 points. One is our superego, which is our conditioning. Another is our ego, which we have achieved as a myth, that we have done this, I am that, I like this, you like this. So we are only 2 things, either superego or ego. We wobble between the two. The third thing which should be within us is our spirit, heart, in the heart. And for that, the central point is the point by which we balance between these two, between the desire and the action. We go on balancing in the center by understanding what is the best. For example, a person drinks a lot. He kills himself by drinking. His son need not read any book to know that drinking is bad. He knows that it is bad. His father is killed because of drinking. So he takes a life which is very much with moderation towards it. You start learning by so many experiences, right and wrong, how to be in the center. That's all you can learn. With human awareness, you can only learn how to be in the center. Now you have to go beyond this human awareness, to be the awareness of the spirit. And when you become the awareness of the spirit, that you should become, that you should ask for, that should be your goal. When you become that, then the whole picture becomes different. Because you can feel it yourself and understand what is right and wrong on your vibratory awareness, which is a new dimension within you. Even children, say take 10 children who are realized souls. If you ask them what's the matter with another person, they will immediately raise the same finger and say this is the matter. When you ask the person, have you got a very bad cold, cough or something, bronchitis, he will say yes. If this hand is shown, that means all the left side, that means he's suffering from emotional trouble. You do not know anything about your chakras at all before realization. One must accept this. One has to accept whatever it is, there's nothing wrong in it. It's only your ego which stops not accepting. And then once you get your realization, you start feeling your different centers. You start feeling it, actually you start feeling it. And you start feeling the centers of others. Anyone who wants to know whether this person is evil or not is only to ask the question, and you can feel it. You can't even bear some of the horrible vibrations you get from people. Some of the Sahajogis tries for asking for some devilish people, and they got actual blisters, especially Mr. Hitler, whom we are supporting now. Actual blisters on the finger, actual blisters. This is what it is. After realization, your real absolute self comes in, because you become the spirit which is in the heart. The spirit resides in the heart, but this is the place of its seat. There are 7 seats in the head, and the seat of the spirit is here. When the Kundalini goes, it's just a very small thread of Kundalini rises, because there are lots of problems. And a very small, through the Brahmanadi is the centralmost channel, it rises and opens this. When it opens it, the grace comes down. And when the grace comes down, you get completely relaxed, because it falls on both the sides, on the Ida and Pingala Nadi, which are the manifesting our left and right sympathetic nervous system. By which you feel first relaxed, thoughtless, and then when it is little bit established, you start feeling the cool breeze, because your spirit has started manifesting, and you just feel a cool breeze like a wind coming into you. First you may feel tingling, heat, all that is going out. Sometimes people little bit shake also, because if the nerves are not properly built up, if they do not have the strength to bear it, then it sometimes happens that you shake a little bit. Doesn't matter. After some time, you start sustaining it. It takes time into some people. In some people, it doesn't take time at all. It's the quality of your central path of Sushumna is important. If it is very simple, there's no problem, then the Kundalini takes no time. She's anxiously waiting. She's your mother. She's the pure desire within you, the power to become one with your spirit. Unless and until you achieve it, whatever you may try, you do anything you like, you spoil your Sushumna, but you'll have to get it, otherwise your seeking will not be over. You have to reach the place where you should say, I have found it. If you have not found the spirit, you will never be happy with any sort of thing you do. Anything you do, be kind to yourself, be gracious to yourself, and get your realization. This is a simple thing as a mother I would like to tell you. There's nothing to be done except by getting realization. But if you are an adamant person, and if you are employed by some of the gurus to come here, or you are running a lawyer's job for other gurus and all that, you cannot get realization. I am sorry you cannot get it, I cannot help it. But you have to identify with yourself and see to it that you want to have it, then only you will get it. If you do not have the desire to have it, you will not get it at any cost. You are not to be forced into it. Your freedom is completely respected. If your freedom is not respected, how are you going to enjoy the freedom of your spirit? So it is completely in your hand to be free to accept whether to get realization or not. Now, this chakra of Vishuddhi is very important, because there are 16 subplexuses which are looked after by it. For example, ear, nose, throat, all these things are looked after by the center of Sri Krishna. And this center has got 2 sides. One is the left, another is the right side. I have to talk about it because most of the people in the West somehow suffer from the left Vishuddhi. One of them is the reason maybe smoking. Right is more affected by smoking, but later on it goes to the left also. But I think the more important is that you people have developed a theory, I don't know how, that